God bless. Today is July 9th, 2020. On my way here this morning when I was getting up in prayer, I was asking, Lord, do you want me to say anything today, or should I just not do it today? And the thought came to me, what time is it? Back in the day, for you that remember the time with Morris Day, they used to have, what time is it? And when we think about time, how do we actually embrace time? Time is very important to us, but to God, there is no such thing as time. Because God has no beginning or end. He's Alpha and Omega. And that's why he's Alpha and Omega, because we have a beginning and an end. But God has really no time as far as, he has to be here at this time. So we understand timing based on God's word. How do we look at it? Now think about this. When you go to work, we look at a certain time that we need to be at work. So we get up and we prepare. And we prepare to go to work based on the time that we need to clock in. And so we don't want to be late because we want to be paid the fullness of the time that we're at on the job. And so when we get to work, and we punch in, now the time is not as important because you have arrived on time to do what you need to do. Now think about this. When the enemy comes against us, when he comes and he tries to affect us, he knows timing. See, the enemy knows there's a season, a time, and purpose for everything. See, but when we think about a season, how long is a season? Now, you got the four seasons: spring, summer, fall, or autumn, and winter. So there are seasons, there are times that each season has. But that season that's before has to surrender to the next season. Fall can't stay always. Winter can't stay always. Spring or summertime can't stay always. There's a time frame for each one of them. And when we understand the timing of the season, we prepare for the next season. But the problem is, a lot of times when we look at timing, it's based on what we feel is the proper time. So therefore, a lot of people, when it comes to being healed or deliverance or whatever, we give God, or we look at God as saying, okay, this is the time frame that this should happen. Because I'm a believer, because I understand the word of God, because I speak in tongues, because I know the promise of God. So there's a time frame, Lord. And I need to make sure that I'm in the proper timing. Now, when we read the book of Acts, chapter 2 to chapter 20 in the book of Acts, when we read it, I call it book of facts, because if it's fact, you act. When we read it like everything happened right away. But it was 20 years in between chapter 2 and chapter 20. That means there was time frames. There's times that we have to understand process. See, what time is it? It's understanding the process of the time. See, when we think of timing, we don't usually think about process. If you tell me that you're going to pick me up at 3 o'clock, okay. At 3 o'clock, I'm expecting you because you say you're going to come at that time. So between the time you call me at 9 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock, there's a process that I have to go through. There's a process of waiting. There's a process of preparing. There's a process of making sure. And at 3 o'clock, if you don't come at 3 o'clock, I feel, okay, maybe something happened, and let's say you don't come until 3:10. Anxiety tries to overtake me. Situations try to run through my mind. What happened? Maybe this happened, blah, blah, blah. Not realizing that the timing, just because you said a certain time, things can come up. And you have to understand the process of being prepared for things that happen, sometimes unaware. And when things happen unaware, the timing and the process. So think about this. God could have created everything at one time. Just could have spoke it and it was done. Why did he take 6 days? And then on the 7th day, he rested. So that means To rest means that means to cease from working. So now think about this. God took 6 days when he could have spoke everything in one time. But why? To give man the understanding of process. Now, why did he rest? Because he wanted man to understand that when you work in labor, now think about this. He already let us know before the fall of Adam that there was going to come a time that we were going to work and we needed rest. Think about this. So why would God create everything in 6 days? On the seventh day he would rest? And he had not even created Adam at the time. He hadn't even created man at the time. So he spoke in those 6 days. In the seventh day, the 6 days he made man, but the seventh day he rested. So he was letting us know that there was coming something in man's life that would cause him, now listen to me very carefully, to rest on the seventh day. We got the seventh day Adventist and different things, but that's not what I'm talking about. How wise is God? He knew that Adam would fall. So what he did, he became an example to mankind. And so therefore, he did what he had to do 6 days, and the seventh day he rested. He was letting us know that in time and in the process of time, that man would have to do something that would cause him to exert things in energy. But on the seventh day, he needed a rest. And I used to always wonder, okay, why would God have to rest? Because he just spoke everything into existence. But then when you look at it and you reflect on it, because he knew that man was going to fall. He knew men was going to have to labor and till the ground. He knew. So therefore, since he knew that this was going to happen, he had to be an example even before it happened. Think about that. How wise is God? See, when we look at it, we say, well, God, he worked, 6 days a day, he's rested. But when he was actually saying, okay, I'm showing man process. There's going to come a process when you fall. When Adam committed sin, when he actually committed high treason and disobeyed God. The Bible says that he will work, he would till the ground. So therefore, there was a time of work. And then he said on the seventh day, man was to rest. So now man is resting. So God, in his wisdom, showed us what time it was. Even before he actually, so God can say and show us biblically. Now watch this. If you think about it. Now, the Bible tells us in Revelation chapter 13, verse 8, before God created anything, and said, worthy is the Lamb who was slain before the foundation of the world. Before God even based the foundation, he already had made a way of escape. Now watch this. So why would he have to make a way of escape if he didn't know man was going to fail? He already knew. See, he already knew. And so because he already knew that, he already started preparing himself for the fall of man when he gave Jesus before the foundation of the world. And then he created things in 6 days, and the seventh day he rested, because he knew that men, after the fallen nature, would have to till the ground. He would have to work. And then he had to rest. He couldn't just continue to work. There had to be a time of rest. And even now, so we think about it, when you can't work 7 days a week, 365 days a year, you'll burn out. There's a day of rest. Now, in America, we take 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. Some places don't have 1 day, but they need the rest. But see, the time and the process of the time is important. But if we don't understand the timing and the process of time, we'll become bitter. We'll become angry. We say, God, why are you not healing me? Why are you not blessing my family and everything else? And God said, go back and think about this. I'm wiser than you. I've already prepared everything for you. The only thing you need to do is to relate to what I'm doing and follow my instructions or follow my lead. But the problem is this. We get so caught up on, we think God should do it at this time. And if he doesn't come at 11:59, man, we miss God. If he comes at 11:19 or 12:19 or 12:37, he's still on time. But see, the thing about it is this, God is teaching us how to understand the process of being patient and waiting on him. Being patient and trusting him. See, the process that we struggle with is that we want it now. We don't want to go through anything. We don't want to wait. We want it now. We have like a popcorn. You know, back in the day, we used to have that Jiffy Pop that used to put on the fire on the stove. We used to have fire on that stove, not electric. And that metal pan, and inside was the kernels. And the more you push it back and forth, it's like a metal afro start to grow, and you can hear it pop. And then once it popped and finished, you just open up and you can eat. Today we have pop it in, pop it out. 30 seconds, we have popcorn. Because we don't want to go through a process. We don't want to wait for anything. We want everything now. And so now we get angry with God because he said, what time is it? Well, God, he said, the time that you need to understand is no matter when I come, I'm coming. But you just need to be ready. And the process of going through. A woman that is pregnant and is going to have a child, she got to go through the process, 3 trimesters of what? Having a child, developing that baby. And even if she get pregnant and you have morning sickness the first trimester, guess what? She'll say, I might as well just get rid of this baby. No, she goes through the process. And as that baby develops and grows. And when the 9 and 40 weeks come, the baby comes forth. Some comes before and some even come after. But when that time comes, no matter how much she goes through the process, she understands the timing. How is it that we can understand timing in the natural, but not understanding timing in things of God and the spiritual? It's because we've been so busy trying to prove to one another that we have something and not talk about the process. Now, I've been in ministry, 37 years? 37 years this year. 37 years of ministry. And I have men of God and friends of mine, after the first year or the first 5 years, they blew up. They were well known. They was traveling. People were, being blessed. Some of them were on television. Some of them, are doing great things. And I'm thinking, Lord, wait a minute. I've been saved longer than them. How is that they up there and I'm still back here waiting and struggling and people talking about me and coming against me? I don't understand. But see, I didn't understand the process of God's timing. I thought because I'm a man of God, because I'm a preacher, because I can speak, because I should be up there just like everybody else. But see, the reason why God didn't elevate me is because I would have messed up. I already messed up before I even got to elevation. And so these men are, and they get it right away, but then later on they have problems. Now think about this. If you bought a brand new car, right? And I had an older car. And my car had problems. So I know that my car had problems. So I'm going to go and get it fixed. But you have a brand new car. You don't expect any problems. Why? Because it's brand new. That brand new car, you expect to run and have that smell and everything. You expect it to be brand new. That means without any problems. But let's say you have it for the first week and all of a sudden it breaks down. I have a friend named Wanda and her car, for almost months, they couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. It was brand new. And now here you are with a brand new car and it seemed like everything's going good. Then all of a sudden 3 months later, it breaks down. And now they can't figure out. Now they have all the technology, but yet they can't figure it out. Now here I am with my 2000, my Ford truck I have. I spent $4,000 to have it fixed in areas, and I knew it was old. I knew that I would have to put money in it. But it's reliable. Therefore, it's gone through the test. It's been tested. So now I understand that, there's going to come times that might have situations, but I'm prepared. Why? Because it's been through a process of time. And because of that process of time, I understand that there's certain things. Now, if I get a brand new car, I'm not understanding why this car breaking down. But it's going to break down because it's still a car. The same way in the things of God. Sometimes we have people who start off brand new and it seems like everything is going right, everything is flowing. So they're not expecting anything different because this has been the success they've had. Then here I am, 37 years, wondering, okay, man, I got this jacked up. See, I'm like that old car. I got things that need to be fixed. I got things that need to be changed. I got oil changes in my life that need to be changed. I need the spark plugs of my attitude to be changed. I got things inside of me that needs to be dealt with. And see, the difference is this. Some of my friends who started out good and ministry awesome, now actually walked away from God because they didn't understand the purpose and the timing and the process. And so now here I am 37 years later, 40 different countries, seeing blind eyes open, deaf ears unstopped, the lame walk, the dead raised, 40 different countries, 37 years later. And now I realize, even with that, I still need work. I still need things that need to be changed. But the difference is this. I have 242,000 miles on my truck. I just had an oil change. They told me my truck engine is the best engine that they made for this kind of Ford back in the day. And my truck runs well. But guess what? I understand that my truck needs work. I understand it's not new. I understand it's a process of understanding that things would change. And the same thing with you and I. We have to understand there's processes in us that needs to change. And therefore, when we understand actually the process and understand God's timing, guess what? Then it happens. Like this Saturday, I just sent out an invitation to Argentina, Paraguay, Uruguay, and Chile. I'm ministering Saturday to the nation of Peru. And I'm reaching out to the South American countries. We're doing Zoom. So if you're part of it, and you, like Michelle, I see you on there, Michelle McClendon. If you want to invite somebody, send them the information. And I'm going to minister a message I ministered last night. Actually understand the affliction of the righteous. We need to understand that the timing and the process that we're going through is actually developing us. This truck that's actually 20 years old, it's a good truck. The body is a little bit worn. I have to put tires on it. I have to make sure the engine's right. I had leaking. When my friend gave it to me, the light kept on coming on saying things was wrong. I had to pay for all those things, and those things to actually be fixed. But now they're fixed. And now it's running. And it's reliable. It's 20 years old, but it's reliable. So what I'm saying to you this morning is this. What time is it? What is the process that God is taking you through that you don't realize? Now I'm in a place, now God is thrusting me forward into the forefront, but what time is it? What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for that God is trying to develop you? So I pray that you're blessed this morning. I pray that you realize in time of refreshing that you have to ask yourself, what time is it? Then when you think about the timing, ask yourself also, what is the process of the timing that I'm in? What are you bringing me to, Lord, that I need to understand? And just because something new doesn't mean it won't break down. But when something's old, doesn't mean it won't break down. It means that you have to be more aware. So be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of what God's doing, what I'm saying. So I pray that you're blessed this morning. I just want to touch base with you. I got a doctor's appointment this morning also besides work. But listen to me. What time is it? I preached a message in Peru years ago. What time is it? Do you know what time it is? And if you do you understand the process of the time that you're in? Remember, God is the answer to your problem. Hebrews 11:6. One soul is worth all. Luke 15:4. And don't let nothing shake your faith in God. Mark 11:22-24. God bless you. Until we meet again, have a smile up on you. Shalom. Much love.